Just 2 weeks behind Knox Johnson, he continued eastwards for another lap of the Southern Ocean to save my soul, as he put it. This is the real solo race, sailing like it's 1968.
Forcément, tous les gens qui reviendront de la Golden Globe Race, forcément, il faut s'attendre à ce qu'ils aient changé.
It's a great story and it's the 50th anniversary, and it's a great opportunity to relive the original solo sailing when technology wasn't available, where we're just using sextants and wind-up clocks to find your position. And it's really the story of humanity and human endeavour in the extreme. So the world has never seen anything like this event.
Well, g'day everybody. We're sort of on time, so that's kind of encouraging, and a typical few hiccups, but I won't bore you with the details. Bottom line is we're here now. Fortunately, Ada's here again, so we should have a good internet connection. And I know quite a few people, including me, are interested in meeting up with Kirsten. Usually we have a bit of a chat for about 5 minutes before we come to air, but I didn't even manage that this time. So this is literally a big first introduction for me as well. So we'll cut straight in. There's not a lot of GGR news, except for the fact, here's Kirsten. G'day. I hope you can hear me.
I can hear you. Hopefully you can hear me.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so great to finally meet up, eh? It's we just said, we had like 2 minutes of chat. This is the first time we've actually spoken for real, even though we feel as if it's been going on forever and we've known each other for years. So
it sure does.
I know. So where are you at the moment?
I'm in Thomaston, Maine, in the USA, here in the rigging shop down at the Lyman Morse yard.
Okay, so does that mean you've just taken a sort of a 1 hour break from work to have a chat?
Well, I was up on Pelagic. Pelagic's on the hard now. I was just tinkering around there, and then I realized the internet connection wasn't going to be any good, so I came down here, and the rigger said, come into the shop, it's dry, and you'll get a good connection. So there we go.
Okay, so you've told them all to shut up, put the drills down, this is important.
Pretty much, but you might hear a bit of work in the background, it's possible.
Yeah, it's funny. I've got to say, before we get into your background and everything, when your application came in to join the race, it was fantastic at a lot of different levels, because you're obviously a very accomplished sailor. But for me, it's just your experience in Antarctica, because Antarctica is like my second home in a lot of ways. Spent a lot of time down there. No skip, no the boats, all that sort of stuff. And I thought, wow, I hadn't heard of you before that much. And it's sort of like all of a sudden it's the GGR. So we're certainly happy to have you on board. And just one quick question, why? Why the GGR?
Well, it couldn't be a more suitable thing for me to do, quite honestly, Don. I'm always looking for new adventure, and this is like the peak.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's just do the usual thing before we get into the the nitty gritty. You've done so much already. Where did it all start? Was it a family thing, or is it just living by the ocean, or what created the journey?
Yeah, I guess as for many, it started with dinghy sailing in childhood, but I was a real outdoors person anyway as a child, so I was game for any kind of outdoors adventure, and I think that's where everything starts, because for me it's not just about the sailing, it's predominantly about the adventure as well. So
yeah. Okay, and so how did you progress? Like, what did you start sailing in? Was it straight into keelboats, or?
Yeah, it was after dinghy sailing and Hobie cats and that type of thing. It was into keelboats, and then it was into catamarans and any sort of boats as long as it had sails. I was never interested in the motorboats.
Yeah, okay. So you've sent me some pictures. I've got pictures here of Pelagic, but there's one here which is that was delivery boat. That's right. That was this one. I thought it might have been one of your early boats, but that's a boat, the Ferro boat that you did a delivery on some time ago. So what got you? At what stage did you then start doing serious offshore? How did you get to that level?
Well, I started off just doing coastal trips on the South African coast, and then because I was living in East London in South Africa at the time, and it's kind of a port where everyone has to pass through coming from Durban if they're going to be following the coastline.
Yeah.
I got to meet a fair few delivery skippers, and they said, "Why don't you go offshore?" And upon a day, I said, "For sure, I've been waiting to go offshore for a while." So I went offshore and I started working for a delivery company that was delivering all the newly built catamarans out of Cape Town. And it was fantastic because it got me all over the world: Caribbean, USA, the Mediterranean, Australia, New Zealand, Thailand, Hong Kong, China, you name
Holy
it.
doy.
So,
I think just thinking back, did you write a few articles about some of those deliveries?
I personally didn't write articles, but I know we were one of the first boats to do a Southern Indian Ocean delivery, because they used to send the boats the long way around, through the Panama Canal. They were going to Australia. But they had to get a boat urgently to the Sydney Boat Show. So, and in fact, it's that boat you're looking at right there. And because it was the first one that had done a Southern Indian Ocean trip, I guess they asked me a bit of information at the time, and they might have written an article on it. And that particular boat was in the crater of St. Paul. That's where we stopped on our way.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think that's the first time I would have heard about you. Because I sort of remember that thing when you sent me this shot of St. Peter, St. Paul, and I remember that really well. I've seen it before, but I can't work out where, and I thought I must have seen it somewhere because it's quite an unusual anchorage, and it had a bit of a bearing on the last GGR when Tommy was in his boat, injured and then taken off. There was all sorts of discussions about going in to this little island. Those that don't know it, it's right in the middle of the Southern Ocean, and it's quite an amazing anchorage. I've never been there, never even seen the place.
I'll tell you what, John, it's a gnarly place. It really is. You kind of think coming from the Southern Ocean, you're entering this safe haven, but it's nothing like it. In fact, when we got out there, we spent 2 nights there clandestinely. When we got out there, we were like, back to the safety of the deep oceans.
So, absolutely, because it's a bottomless anchorage, eh? It's really deep, like it's a nightmare.
Pretty much. So you have to go really close inshore to, have an anchorable depth. And then because it's a steep crater, you've got all these swirling katabatic winds swirling around. So you're just spinning all over the shore and wanting to go onto a lee shore at all moments.
So, okay, so you grew into the profession, you might say, but did you get professional qualifications or you just like a word of mouth? Obviously experience is more important than the piece of paper, but have you got qualifications as well?
Yep, sure. I mean, I started off with the experience, but then it became pretty evident that if I wanted to, take it further and really, make a career of it, I'd have to get the papers. So I did. I got all the RYA, Ocean Master, Offshore Yacht Master, whatever tickets. I got the South African tickets too, just because it's a requirement down there to actually have a ticket to sail along the coast. So,
yep. Yeah. So okay, you must have interesting. Some people would be aghast that you took the cat through the Southern Ocean and stuff. You must have some good stories. What's one of your favourite delivery stories?
Well, I guess, if you're speaking of being aghast, I think one of my favorite deliveries, just because of how much adrenaline there was actually not that trip to Australia, but it was another on the same kind of boat trip to New Zealand. And we went right into the 50s because once again, we were in a hurry and the company said, get there by a specific date. And I mean, these catamarans, they're pretty seaworthy, but they weren't built for the Southern Ocean. So we had a sort of quite a big, low pressure system pass over us, and it had created swell from the northwest, and as the center went past, we had swell from the southwest, and we had up to 70 knots, and then the swells were doubling up and they were causing breaking water, and when it caught the boat, we were surfing up to 25 knots bare pole, and it was really, really scary. We were trailing warps and everything behind us. And just thinking, hope the designer got it right, because this looks like the perfect pitchpole kind of situation. And then we eventually had a wave break right into the cockpit of that catamaran, and we were inside, fortunately, and we had closed the sliding door, but it was like this wall of blue water hitting the door, and it knocked the door out of the rails, and we took on a few 100 liters of water, and there were fuel drums and fruit and stuff just floating everywhere, and the bilge alarms were coming on and off. And
look, I'm not a swearing person, but holy shit. That's okay. That
that was good.
I think we'll when we do finally meet, and we ever get any time, because when we do meet, you'll be da da da. But I think we can have some amazing conversations. Holy dooly! So okay, so I mean we're moving on really quickly here because I saved some of this stuff till later. But how are you going to feel going from that environment into this environment with your brand new boat? I mean, it's a classic boat. Tell people about the boat first and why you decided on that, and the contrast you're expecting to go around the world in this boat.
Well, it's a Cape George 36. It's built in Washington State in the USA, and it's quite a heavy displacement boat compared to some of the other boats, but it's also quite long on the waterline, which is what I like about it. And it's got a lot of sail area to make up for its heavy displacement.
Yeah.
So I guess it's going to be quite a physical boat to keep moving, and I certainly might have a lot of work to keep it going in light airs. But I, after working on the pelagic boats for all these years, I'm used to heavy, sturdy boats. So I thought, well, maybe I'll go for the heavier displacement boat. Because I did look at some of the other boats, Don, and some of them, I'd step onto them from the dock and they were already heeling over. And I'm like, this just feels like a dinghy, and I can't envisage myself in the Southern Ocean on it. So I saw this boat and I got onto it and I thought, this feels sturdy, and I feel safe in it. And I would, because similarly, the ferro cement boat trip that I did, okay, that was a really slow trip because the boat was only 32 foot, but it was a solid, heavy boat, and it sat really nicely in the water. And on the Southern Atlantic stretch, I have to say, I felt pretty at home on it and pretty comfortable.
Yeah, it's interesting. When we decided on what type of boats we're going to use for this, you can never get it right because sailors are sailors and they've all got an opinion. But we chose boats that we figured at the end of the day, it's still the structure's still going to be there, and I still maintain it. So it's a good move. And ironically, from the last race, without mentioning names, some very experienced entrants all said the boat was too light. The boats were light, and they're still heavy displacement stuff. I mean, that's an interesting story, and everyone has an opinion. But kind of classic. But I'm pretty much in awe of yourself in terms of your profession. It's one thing to follow dreams and just get into adventure sailing, but you chose it as a profession, and to be with Skip all that time on pelagic, which has got an incredible inventory. How do you feel about that? Is it you're not doing it for the money, obviously, because I know what happens when you're in those parts of the world. But just give us your take on.
Sure.
I mean, it's good to get the money, and I know Skip pays, but just what's your take on that? I mean, you obviously love it, but
I do. I mean, it's tears of joy and it's tears of sometimes frustration, to be honest, because it's quite a hardcore job when you go down with a group of clients and you're looking after the boat and you're looking after the clients and you've got your crew and you're doing maintenance on the boat and you're doing everything. You could go on a charter that takes 2 months and you're out there with, say, a BBC film crew, and they up at first light and they stay up as long as they can, and they want you to be there with them all the time, and they want you to feed them, and they want you to dinghy them around, and they want you to take the boats onto the most dangerous lee shores. And but it's great. I mean, it's been absolutely exhilarating. And sometimes I finished the season and I've thought, wow, I'm tired. I think I need a change or a break. And then I'm out of it for a couple of months and I start missing it so much. I just want to go back to it. So it's been an absolutely amazing trip. I mean, certainly a highlight in my sailing life.
Yeah. I'm just having a laugh. Jane is in Australia at the moment, but she's watching this on the side, and she's actually a charter skipper for 12-meter boat, and we've got a Lagoon 450. And I know when we take friends out, 4 cabins, 4 toilets, doing stuff, it's like up in the morning, get this going, this, and Jane will be laughing, poor Kirsten, Anyway, that's cool. So okay, we better get on to some of the formal stuff we do, just to get that out of the way. We do the word association. You know all about that. I'm going to throw some at you and just tell us the first thing that comes to your mind. Sponsors.
Right.
Sponsors.
Rear.
Excitement.
Plenty of it.
Life.
Adventure.
Lonely.
Solitude.
Luck.
Need it.
Southern Ocean.
Great place.
Money.
Need more.
Mother.
Love.
Risk.
Life.
Adventure.
Life.
Love.
Adventure.
Time.
Not enough.
Food.
Sorry, I'm just had to shut that down. Food. Comfort.
Bowline.
Daily thing.
Albatross.
Companionship.
Southern Ocean.
Vastness.
Inspiration.
GGR.
Winner.
Everyone.
Knife.
Useful.
Impossible.
Not impossible.
Books.
Need a library.
Okay. Are you going to take many? Do you think?
I will, Don. I definitely will. Even if it weighs me down a little bit, I think it's going to be very important.
Yeah. Too true. Have you done a program on your estimated time around? How many days you think you'll take?
I haven't really done.
Be bold, be bold. You can say better than 212.
Okay, better than 212. Let me be bold. There we go.
Okay, that's cool. All right, we're going to hit you with some questions now. You just got to pick a number 1 to 10. You know the deal. So pick a number.
7.
7. What do you know a lot about?
Not a lot.
Okay, fair enough. That's a cool one. 10 to 20.
11.
11. What was the last time you cried and why?
Last time I cried was when I was having a few keel issues with pelagic, shall I say. Cried out of frustration.
Okay, that's I can relate to that. 20 to 30.
28.
28. What do you do for fun?
Surf.
Surfing. How long have you been surfing?
I've been surfing since I was about 18. I started quite late.
Holy dooly. Okay. That's cool. Yeah. So you'll be surfing in the boat soon, That's different. Yeah, okay.
Well, I enjoy surfing those nice Southern Ocean swells as well.
Yep, absolutely. I'm with you. So 30 to 40.
34.
34. Do you believe in karma?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. Okay, 40 to 47.
45.
45. What's your biggest fear and why?
I guess breakage. So serious breakage is my biggest fear, and why? Because I've seen what the ocean can be like, and breakage is very not only possible but probable. So
yeah, okay. All right, I'm just going to go down the comments here. Stuart's there. Aida, who's sitting right there, has been waiting to hear you for a long time. Kirsten?
We'd like you to put out this picture because we want to see Kirsten better.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I've got a request to get rid of the picture of your boat so that you look bigger in the screen. Yes. So there you go. You got some fans already. Mike and Gaia there. Love seeing and hearing Kirsten. Lots of love from family in the Falklands. That's from Sally Ellis. Rune Dam is there from Oslo. Ted Ryman. Ada. I'm looking for questions. Have you seen any questions, Ada? Dave Morgan, Yannick Moreau, look forward to welcoming you, Christian Le Sable d'Olonne. What do you think of Le Sable d'Olonne? Yannick, of course, is the mayor here and husband of Ada. But
I think it's great. I mean, I can't wait to actually get there and see the place.
Yeah, it's pretty special. I mean, it's right out the window just here. So that's cool. Rian, who's a big fan of GGR, building a boat maybe to get there one day. Rich history of racing from South Africa, and absolutely right. So I think they're all proud to have you there. We've got quite a contingent from South Africa. Have you met the other guy?
The other South African?
Yeah.
Jeremy, yeah. I haven't met him in person, but I have known of his existence. And we've chatted on FaceTime before. So
Yeah, cool. Okay, we've got a few Rian saying hope you're first, so we'll talk about that in a minute. And Paul's there, Doug Dean's here, Mike and Gay, Jane's here. Asked Don to take the other. Oh, it's Jane that wanted that. Jane likes you, Kirsten. You're fine. If Jane likes you,
Thanks,
you can
Jane.
do
I like
anything.
you and I look forward to meeting you.
Okay. All right. So yes. So let's just talk about when you first heard about the GGR. What was your reaction? What was and how did you hear about it? How long ago? Where were you at?
Well, I was actually on a charter on Pelagic Australis, and the first mate was talking about it the whole time because to be honest, I wasn't following much of anything really because I so seldom had a good internet connection. And she was talking about it the whole time, and she was so enthused about it. And it just started enthusing me, and I really started thinking about what it meant to do a race like this. And I thought, wow, this is incredible. And she kind of planted the seed in my head, and it became an obsession at some other stage.
Okay, so it's gone from being an obsession to a total frustration now, because we know you can't get to your boat. Where are you at with that? I know a few people are trying to help, and
Yeah, well, I'm still trying. So I'm sitting here in Maine, and there's no particular reason why I should be here other than that it's quite the lovely place. But I haven't given up and gone home to South Africa because I'm trying to get to my boat in Newfoundland, and the only barrier is getting across the border. That's it. Because obviously I'd like to get the boat away from Newfoundland before it starts icing up over there and getting too cold to do anything, and get it to somewhere where I can haul it and put it in a shed and do some work on it, or at least get onto it and sail it. I mean, I've only ever seen it once. I'm dying to get to it and experience the boat. So
yeah, true.
yeah.
Okay, so what's the big fun factor for you for the race? Obviously there's the challenge and there's just finishing and all that sort of stuff. But what do you think is going to be the enjoyment side? Where's the pleasure coming from?
Well, Don, I really, really like single handing, and I really like offshore passages. I don't tend to get bored of them. I mean, for sure, they're boring and frustrating moments, or I would say more frustrating because I don't generally get bored. But I'm really looking forward to getting into the rhythm and being out there and just really enjoying it. Once I've left the whole rat race of getting to the start line behind me, it's going to be, I think it's going to be a really, really rewarding experience. And that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the sailing,
Yeah. Did you have brothers? Did you have brothers and sisters and stuff?
I have a sister, one.
And is she like you, or you're a wild card?
She also loves the outdoors, but she's not into this sailing.
Yeah. So what did your parents do? What were your parents? Were they an influence?
My dad was a big influence because it was his dream to sail around the world, and he built a boat and never quite got to launch it and sail it, but he spoke of it all his life, and instead he was earning money to raise children. So I thought, well, if you don't do it, I'm going to do it.
Okay, so is he really miffed, or is he really excited?
He's excited. He's definitely excited. So I took him on a few deliveries as well, and he enjoyed that. That was cool. In later years, when my old man was truly starting to get old, that I could take him on some stuff.
Yeah, too true. Okay, so you've spent a huge amount of time in the Antarctic. Give us one of your favorite Antarctic stories. That place I know is like no other place on Earth, and you can't. The pictures, my simple explanation, pictures and videos don't do it justice. It's much bigger than that. But what's your attraction there? What's your best story? Where's it at?
Well, one of my favorite stories is we went down with a BBC film crew, and they were filming specifically leopard seals predating or eating gentoo penguins, and they had underwater cameras, and we had divers and everything else. So we were bobbing around in the ice on the Zodiac, and one of the divers was in the water, and we'd been watching the leopard seals in the area for quite a number of days, and there was this big one with a scar across his face, and we called him Scarface. So we were there, and I say to the diver on board, the standby diver on the Zodiac, I say, Scarface is coming up, but at a quick rate. And he calls the diver out really quickly. And the diver says, get me out of here, because Scarface was on a mission that day. Well, we just managed to pull the diver out, bottle and weights and all, Scarface pops up on the seam and bites into the cone of the dinghy, and of course the cone deflates. So we were all standing there with oars trying to fend this thing off so that we could get the hell out of there before he started puncturing any other cones. So it was kind of a cool Antarctic story, but yeah.
Yeah, cool. I mean, not the same as that, but I can distinctly remember a time behind de Monteville, the Antarctic base, with a Mark V Zodiac, with 8 passengers on board, being stalked by a big leopard seal and coming past and having to get them all, get inside the boat, stay, long story. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty cool. So Skip's pretty clever, eh? I really admire Skip for a lot of reasons, but he's had you as a skipper for some time. He knows his business. So yeah, is he behind the GGR as well? Like he thinks it's a cool thing for you?
He's been super supportive. He really has. And I know for sure I'll keep on turning to Skip for advice. And I guess he knows the whole drill of, getting to the start line of the race. So he's the ideal person to have backing me. And yeah, I'm really privileged that way.
Yeah, pretty good sounding board, absolutely. So that's cool. All right, I'm going to bring, we've got Guido here somewhere. I got to find him here. I'm not using it. Hang on, where is he? Come on. There he is. I'm just going to bring him in. He's your counterpart here. He's in 3 seconds. I'll hide that. G'day, Guido. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Hey, Kirsten.
That's good. You're looking very cool and Italian there. So just explain where you are and what you're doing at the moment. You know Kirsten. You met Kirsten just before we came on to air. So where are you and what are you doing right now?
I'm on my boat at the moment. This is the first sort of shakedown sail that hopefully are going to be followed by many more.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the first time out on the boat. Can you pick up your computer and just run it around, do a slow pan? So you're at anchor at the moment. That's right.
Yeah. We are at anchor just outside the marina because we came out to do a bit of trying out a bit of the equipment. So I don't know what you're going to see, but I'll try.
Just do a slow pan around. So you got to. Is that your? I'm just interested to see if that's your. Okay, that makes sense.
Or not, but that's it.
Yeah, wow, that's a good looking dodger you got there.
Yeah, this took us bloody months. This is the most important bit of the boat as far as work time is concerned.
Actually, that's really cool. I like that. I mean, some of them get in my opinion. I mean, sailors are sailors. We all have an opinion, right? And sometimes it's good to say what the opinion is to create the discussion. But I like that because it's not too big. If they get too big, it's too much windage and the bum slews around in heavy weather. And so Jean-Luc has he folds it down, gets rid of it. But that's a pretty good compromise, eh? So you're happy with you're happy with your boat. I mean, we'll get into it in depth next week, and you can tell us how good it is to sail. So that's kind of cool. And you know Kirsten, and as in her boat, what makes you think that you're going to have any chance at all, and I'm not biased, any chance at all of keeping up with Kirsten during the GGR?
I don't think I will, actually.
That's a cop-out. That's a cop-out.
No, I mean, Kirsten is definitely a very accomplished sailor, and she's going to be a tough cookie. So honestly, I mean, realistically, obviously my aim is that of I mean, in those 3 groups that you often mention, I would define myself as being in the second one, that being getting around first of all and trying to do it as quickly as possible. But one has to be realistic. It's I'm pretty sure I'll be competitive down to Cape Town, and then I think Kirsten is going to come into her own from there on, and I'm going to be bloody busy keeping this thing straight, because I've gone exactly the opposite way in boat choice, because I'm quite convinced that being fast is one way to go about it, but that implies also looking after the boat a lot, and that's going to take a lot of work and a lot of time at the helm, and So it's gonna be tough. It's
Yeah. Okay, well, Kirsten, Guido is a pretty nice sort of guy, you know. I mean, be gentle, but why are you going to beat him in the GGR?
Well, Don, I really can't say, because this is the interesting thing about this race is there's so much diversity in boats and people, and there's such a large element of luck. So I really can't say whether I will or won't beat Guido, but I'll sure be happy to know that he's out there sailing with me.
Yeah. Okay. So now you got to make a public declaration. We all talk about the three groups. You know, there's the ones that are out to win it, right? Then there's the ones that want to get around as fast as they can, and then there's the ones that just want to finish. Where do you see yourself, Kirsten? You know, like where's that?
Oh, Don, I want to win, of course.
Oh, good.
So
Why am I not surprised?
very best. Whether I will or not is a question of many, many factors, but I will put my all and everything into it.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. And I know Mark Slats will be listening to this and he'll be thinking, oh, maybe I better come back and have a go, you know. So, and I know a lot will be after Jean-Luc's time, but of course we changed the course a little bit this time. So it's very hard to get horses for courses, but nonetheless, it's going to be a hell of a race. There's no question there. So, so that's cool. So Guido, what's your biggest? I mean, to me, you seem really organised. You know, you've got your boat, you're out there, you're about to start sailing. We're 2 years away. What's your biggest fear at the moment about the GGR?
Well, I wouldn't call it fear, but it's definitely something that keeps me on my toes and keeps me thinking. It's obviously getting to the start line. That's because I've got a lot going on, and I need to be well organized just to fit everything in.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's enough. I don't want to get too much in depth because we'll give it all away. We want to give people a bit of excitement to come and see you. Now, one thing I will say, the Italians went a bit crazy in the last race, and unfortunately we lost Francesco. You know, he didn't get to finish, but you know, they're all there. We see little indicators that the Italians are crazy. What's the deal with Italian sailors? Why are they so passionate about sailing?
Well, because it's a beautiful sport, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Well, anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We've got a couple of people that might yet enter, so I'm hoping there's another Italian there. We're talking to a few people, but anyway, we'll have to wait and see.
Hopefully.
So okay, Kirsten, your biggest fear for the GGR, you know, in terms of you're in the race and you're underway, and I know we mentioned, I think one of the questions was, or one of the word associations was something about damage, but what's a personal fear? You know, like where's it at for you? The big boogeyman, the unknown, or are you confident and just going to go for it? You know, don't even think about it.
I'm confident. I really am. I mean, I'm not oblivious to what can all happen out there at all, but it's a bit like going surfing in an area where there might be great whites, John. I don't think the whole time sharks, because that's going to distract me from catching the wave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, I feel I'll tackle this in a similar manner, but going in prepared, you know.
Yeah, that's exactly the same as me. You know, when you're preparing for any expedition, you concentrate so much on risk assessment and risk mitigation that at the end you're really comfortable. You know, other people from the outside looking in think, oh, sheesh, you know, but you're so comfortable, you think, is there something wrong with me? You know, and I think I can see in you a sense of confidence through your professionalism and what you do every day dealing with a charter boat in high latitudes and risk and so on. So, yeah, I sense that.
Yeah, and to be honest, going out on my own in some ways takes a lot of stress off me, because one of the biggest stress factors is taking other people into a dangerous situation, you know, where you're responsible for you and clients and that kind of thing. So,
yeah, absolutely. You're in control of your own destiny, only responsible to you. Yeah, I know that feeling. I'm going to have a quick scan down here to see if there's any questions here. Sally Ellis is wishing you luck. You're going to have a huge female following, I can tell you that, and males too. I can tell you that as well. So that was a stupid statement, but anyway, Aida's laughing. She's cacking herself on the thing here right now. Luke Bull, question: you have a role model? Yeah, who's your role model? Who's your personal inspiration? Is there anyone?
I've got so many, Don. I couldn't really single out one single person. But in terms of sailing and in terms of the GGR, for sure, Moitis here, Robin Knox-Johnson, and Skip Novak has certainly been a role model, and he has taught me a lot.
Yeah, a very interesting guy. You know, I used to read about him when I was well, a long time ago, and then of course we met a few times, and yeah, it's quite a chapter there, that's for sure. Okay, Gurav woke up late. Apart from the wind vane SS, what, according to you, is the most important piece of equipment for the GGR? What's going to be your most important bit of kit?
Well, that's my secret, Guru.
I like that. Oh, beautiful. And Guy De Beer mustn't be here because I'm not seeing any question, but he'll be pulling his hair out by the roots. He's really worried. You're psyching him out already. Just leave it at that, right? We'll move right along. Aiko, just here, you make us dream again about the GGR. Can't wait to see you on the start line. I agree. And Gurav, I'm going to try to fly to the US and back in a bit. Maybe I can smug. Oh, I just jumped up with more questions. Where did it go? Maybe I can snuggle her across in my bag. Oh, he wants to bring you back to Thingo, but yeah, that's another story. Okay, so that's cool. So what do you think is going to be the financial challenge, like sponsors and so on? I know you're out there. You've got a bit of a team already, Kirsten, that's helping you try and manage this, because you're working, and it's good. You'll never get a sponsor if you're by yourself. You need a team. What's the plan there with sponsors and bits?
Well, the plan at the moment is quite vague, Don, because COVID came along and then everything kind of changed the whole feel of going out for sponsorship. Initially, I was hoping to go for corporate sponsorship, but in this whole day and age of the pandemic, maybe private sponsorship is better, and aligning myself with a charity that I think is really worthy, and there are many out there. So so that if someone is willing to fund me somehow, that they're not only funding my cause of fulfilling my personal dream of completing the Golden Globe, but also if I can align it very closely to something that is like educational, and that goes along with every step of the way from right now up until the finish line, then it's an approach I'd like to take.
Yeah, cool. So what about you, Guido? You look so organised, it's ridiculous. but you're obviously going to be on the hunt for sponsors. Have you got a plan?
No. I made quite a radical choice. I would say pretty much at the beginning, and that was to go in as a Corinthian. So I took my time and I spread out the cost, and it's a double-edged knife, that of sponsorship, because you obviously then have to commit. Because if you're serious about it, you have to commit. And I wanted to suss things out as I went along, and because my conviction is that I'm not going to start unless I'm really convinced that it's all up and running and organized as it should be, and I'm prepared as I should be, etc., etc. So, and I didn't want to let my sponsor down. Ever thought of finding one? So, and then as I said to Kirsten in one of our chats, who's going to sponsor me?
Hang on, you might be surprised. You're Italian.
Yeah, but I see a lot of really good guys with huge experience, with great results, who do this professionally. Italian sailors, that is, really struggling to find sponsors, because unfortunately Italy has got this dichotomy about it. There are a lot of guys into sailing, but the companies don't really see into it, not nowhere near as much as the French companies, for example, do.
Yeah.
Although we do have some great one Giancarlo Pedote is going to be at the start line of the Vendée Globe. We've got a great Boji on the minis, who's getting great results, and they're struggling to find
Ambrosio.
Ambrosio, yeah, that's it.
I follow him as well. He's a classic.
He's a great guy, great sailor. And they're struggling to find sponsors, and I mean, I don't have many sailing sporting results to speak of.
Yeah.
So I just thought I'd cut my losses and go as a Corinthian, and as I said, spread the cost out.
But certainly you've been at it for a while, because we had some good discussions on the dock before the start of the 18 edition, and you were, we were clarifying boats, and then you went and got your boat straight away, and you were helping Francesco at the time.
Yeah.
And here we are years later, and you're looking really slick. So anyway, you never, and I always maintain two things at the moment, because we obviously have a lot going on in the background for GGR and OGR and even Mini 580 with sponsors. And I've got to say, there's something very good happening in the background right now. And I could summarize it by saying this. Everyone in business knows they've got to reboot to the new world when it turns up, post-COVID. No one knows what it'll be, but they're all looking at a new launch, and they're reflecting on a simple thing right now. Because of all the troubles, everyone's reflecting on humanity and human stories. And if you remember correctly, we've been saying for years that it's all about the story, So, I actually, this will sound really corny, I know, but from a GGR perspective and Ocean Globe Race and all the rest of it, I honestly feel more positive now about sponsorship for our human story events than I did pre-COVID. It's actually rolled over. Now, whether it comes to fruition or not, I'm not sure, but there's some interesting discussions going on in the background. So don't lose hope, Guido. Someone might come up and knock you on the shoulder and say, hey, what are you doing? It's all about the stories. It's not about performance. It's not about speed. It's not about winning. It's all about the stories. And that's where we're all at. And so, being Italian, the glasses and you're just Italian. That's a story. And as for Kirsten, what a classic. I mean, if I don't, it's going to happen, Kirsten. I mean, I
just want to make a point here, because Kirsten knows well, and it's quite funny that we landed up being all in a row. Kirsten is South African. I'm sort of a quarter South African. Because I lived there, I spent a lot of time there. And then we're going to have Jeremy up next after me.
Yeah.
So I'll end up between two proper South Africans, and I'm the quarter blood. But it's it's
going to be a hell of an event, that's for sure. So anyway, we're all heading that way. So Kirsten, is there something that you want to say to people about you? And I've got to say something here as well. I have to fight the urge to say, wow, you're an incredible female sailor, right? And I can never win here. I had some issues in the last race, because you are, but I don't. The issue is you're just an incredible sailor, right? But you're going to be flying the flag for women, whether you like it or not. We may have another woman or another couple of women joining the race. So from my perspective, and even normal commentators, we can't win. If I say, wow, you're an amazing woman sailor, they say, she's not, she's a good sailor. I say, no, she is. But how do you feel about this thing, flying the flag for women at the moment? You're the only female sailor in the race, which is in some ways a bit disappointing, but in other ways, wow, what an ambassador. So what's your take on that issue?
Well, I'll proudly fly the flag for women sailors.
Good.
If I can and must, and I will gladly do so. But I don't, I guess that's not the only focus I'd like people to have on me, is that the fact that I'm a woman. Like you say, I will race as an equal with everyone else who's in the race, whether they're male or female. And I think that in itself is the most powerful point one can make in this whole discussion.
Absolutely.
About male racing or sailing or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, no, it's exactly right. But, it's always interesting.
I hope it encourages people, because like you say, it would be nice to see more women in events like this.
Yeah, it will indeed. In fact, I get into trouble because sometimes I support women in sailing, and there's that people even have a go at me at that sometimes. So anyway, I just hope I can get through the next edition without upsetting anyone with my political uncorrectness, but that's life.
I'm asking how many rolls of toilet paper I'll be taking.
Well, it's interesting, because if you look in Sir Robin O'Shuss's book about about his original Golden Globe, it's got 13 rolls of toilet paper. And I put it, and I was always gobsmacked with that. I mean, I did the Telescope Bounty Boat thing with no toilet paper, and it was fine. But it would always amaze me, and I finally got to ask him the question. I don't know, sometime last when we were in the wind up of the GGR, I say, hey, Robin, in the book it said you had 13 rolls of toilet paper. What's the take on that? And he said, oh, did I really? I'm not sure. It was along those lines. So yeah, I think we'll have to do a statistical count, get the analysis. We'll ask everyone before the start how many rolls of toilet paper they're going to take. Anyway, I'm just going to quickly scroll down. Time's shooting through. We don't want to go too far, but let's see. See any questions there, Ada? There's enough sponsors out there for Gurav, always vocal, says there's enough sponsors for everyone. I agree. Good luck, Kirsten.
When I get back. I hear he's buying 8, so that's cool.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, too true. Nikki Kerwin, definitely not just good results, and it's one hell of a story. Right company with the right values is 100% get behind you. Just on that, Simon just left on his qualifier. Simon is out there, left yesterday, I think, so he's out for a couple of 1,000 miles. John Moss, Kirsten, is the prospect of having to rely solely on celestial navigation at all daunting? Or is it already second nature to you on your celestial, Kirsten?
I haven't had to do celestial because I've had to rely on it. I've done it, and when I've done it for fun. But it's not the thing that is daunting to me. I think there are other aspects that are more concerning than the celestial aspect, to be honest.
Yeah, the same. I mean, as I say, I've done it, but I'd forgotten it. If I had to do it now, it'd take me 3 or 4 days to get back in the swing. Goro. Hit me up again. Wrong pronunciation again. It's not Gurav, it's Goro. Sorry, mate. Okay, moving right along. Okay, so I think is there something that you'd want to say to everyone now, Kirsten? I'm going to oh boy, now the Goro thing's really lost me. But anyway, so is something that you want to say to people about the race or about what you're doing? Sell yourself,
Sell myself.
Yeah.
I'm not right in this moment, but what I would like to say is to everyone that is supporting me, and there have been a lot of people that I've never met or heard of that have sent me words of encouragement or who have supported me in some or other, financial, practical, doesn't matter in which way. And I really, really want to thank all those people because it's good to know that there's supporters out there. It really, really helps.
Yeah, it's a sleeping giant. So, okay, I'm going to say see you later.
That's Guido.
Ada's laughing. Yeah, Guido. And we'll see you next week, eh? So thanks for coming up and being on standby. It's exciting that you're sailing, so we'll look forward to your explanation about the boat when you finally get sailing, eh? Next week, same time, same place. So,
nice.
Okay.
All the best for your campaign.
Yeah, thanks, mate. So bugger off. I'll get rid of you. See ya.
Good to see you, Guido. Bye.
Yeah, so Kirsten, in terms of the GGR, I mean, obviously you're excited, but if there was one thing you could change about the race, what would it be?
Do you really want me to be completely honest here, Don?
Absolutely. I'm prepared to step down. Jane can take over. It's okay,
I'd change the Cape Town photo drop.
Yeah. This will encourage all the entrants now, because if there's one thing that you know about, it's the conditions sailing into and out of Cape Town. So why would you want to change it?
Well, I know that coastline, and it's not a coastline I'd approach unless I actually wanted to make landfall there. So, I mean, it adds an additional element of luck and challenge and everything else, but I also know how gnarly it can be, and getting off that continental shelf and the Benguela and the Agulhas current, and the chances of whether you're going to get a southeasterly for 3 weeks at that time of year or a southwesterly to slingshot you past the Cape, so it certainly changes or makes the dynamics of the race different, maybe more interesting, maybe more challenging. So it is what it is, and I'll do it, but I would potentially change that.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, the other thing we're probably going to announce is that everyone will have to make a compulsory slingshot, and there'll be a hoop at the rounding mark on the film drop, and you'll have to shoot a film canister through the hoop, and if you get it through, same as Matesia did, you'll get an extra half an hour or something, something like that. So that's cool.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, part of the fun. Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's really cool. Yeah, great to meet you at last. And I'm sure we'll be chatting further and all that sort of stuff. And I know everyone's really hoping we can get you, or you can get to your boat. I mean, it's pretty. What's the prognosis? What's your gut feeling? When are you going to get to the boat?
Because I'm really optimistic, I have a feeling I will get to it before the end of the year, and I won't give up for the next at least month trying. And I think there's going to be hope somewhere, to be honest. I really do. Somewhere a crack's going to open up and I'm going to get in.
Yeah, sure it will. Just keep positive and things happen. All right, well, that's fantastic. I look forward to doing it again in about 26 weeks. Okay.
Yeah,
And
cool.
you can give us an update. Say good day to Skip too. It's quite amazing that he's sort of involved now in the GGR. Sometimes he must laugh at what goes on, but there you go. That's life. All right.
Thanks.
That's great. So well done. Good luck with the rest of it. And I'm looking forward to talking about Antarctica with you when we finally get around to it. It'll be fun.
Likewise, I do too. Many questions to ask you.
Okay. Yep. We'll see you later. Thanks for that. See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so that was fun. Guido and Kirsten all together in one package. So thanks for that. And we'll, if all goes well and we can maintain the internet and things like that, we'll see you again next week, same time. See you later. Bye-bye.